Hey extraordinary people, I'm Daniel, and I recently hiked Angel's Landing in Zion National Park in Utah, one of the scariest and most amazing places I've ever been in my life. Angel's Landing is a 5-mile round-trip hike with a 1,500-foot elevation gain, sharp drop-offs, and rock climbing with nothing but a chain to hold on to. But let's start at the beginning. You can get to Angel's Landing by riding the Zion shuttle bus through Zion Canyon to the Grotto station. The trail is on the left and basically goes through the woods up to the base of the mountain. This is the easiest part of the trail. Even from here, the scenery is spectacular and you can get some great views. As you get closer to the mountain itself, you can see what looks like almost an enormous staircase of switchbacks climbing up the cliffside. Here, the trail gets much steeper and starts to turn into more of a climb. Once you reach the top of the first section, though, you're able to look out over Zion Canyon. Next, you're going to have to hike through a slot canyon to the back of the mountain. This area is really tranquil and serene, and one of the easiest parts of the hike. While I love the thrill of climbing up rocks only inches away from a 1,500-foot drop-off, there's something to be said for a quiet walk through uninterrupted nature as well. There's a sign in the middle of the trail telling visitors to be quiet because of the Mexican spotted owls in the area. Unfortunately, I didn't see any. The trail gradually steepens until you get to Walter's Wiggles, a series of switchbacks that form another giant staircase. At the top is Scout Lookout, where you'll get your first really good aerial view of Zion Canyon. If you're afraid of heights, though, this is where you'll want to check out. A sign marking the next section warns you that 13 people have died falling from the cliffs since 2004. The sign also tells visitors that there are California condors in the area, but I'm not sure if I saw any. There were vultures flying around, but from a distance I couldn't tell if they were turkey vultures or condors. From here, the trail gets incredibly steep and treacherous, and in order to traverse it, you have to hold onto metal chains bolted into the rock. You often only have a few feet of space to walk on slanted slabs of rock, and the rocks are so smooth from people walking on them that they can be slippery if you don't have shoes or boots with good grip. I was wearing my sports sandals because, why the hell not, but I would advise that you wear hiking boots or at least athletic shoes. The other thing you absolutely need are gloves, preferably fingerless, because your hands will get sweaty, and you don't want to risk them slipping off the chains. Once you get past the first section of chains, there's a small, somewhat level, I'm being relative here, area where you can stop and rest. You can even look right down into the canyon, but obviously be really careful doing this. Next is the most famous part of Angel's Landing, the narrow rock spine that leads to the highest point. This section is by far the most challenging. When you aren't mere feet away from the edge, you're pulling yourself up with your arms and trying to get around people who are coming back down. There's only one path up the spine, so to get around people going the opposite direction, you have to get creative. Once you reach the top, though, all your effort will be worth it. Standing on top of Angel's Landing, you get an amazing 360-degree view of Zion Canyon that's unlike anything you'll see in your life. To me, that feeling of conquest you get when you climb a mountain, there's nothing else like it. Your troubles aren't over yet though, because now you have to get down, and climbing down is actually more challenging than climbing up. When you're climbing back down, it's hard to see where you're stepping, and you often have to walk backwards because of how steep the inclines are. And then after you get back to Scout and Lookout, you still have to walk the 2-mile hike back down to the ground. Angel's Landing is an experience like no other. It's challenging, exhausting, terrifying, and absolutely exhilarating. You don't need to be an experienced hiker to hike Angel's Landing. I'm certainly not one. However, you do need plenty of water, plenty of stamina, reasonable physical fitness, and nerves of steel. If you're up for it, it's an adventure that you'll never forget. When I got back to the grotto, I was so tired that I just lay down on a bench and stared up into the trees above me, asking myself why I'd put myself through such an exhausting experience. To answer that question, I'll simply quote the immortal words of George Mallory, because it's there. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, subscribe, and remember that you're extraordinary. I love all of you so much. Bye. 'Cause you're extraordinary. Yes, you know it's true. Extraordinary. That's why